Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is The Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Draft Day Sports College Basketball, and it's episode 61. All the way up to 2038 January 1st, we are about to start the conference part of our season, and we're coming in with an 11-2 record. We played some pretty tough teams. This is about the best starting five that I think I might ever have had. Can't say for certain, but it's definitely up there. One thing that I can say for certain, though, is looking in the record books here, Andre Moore, Chris Monroe. Moore is a senior, while Monroe is a junior. But Monroe has definitely been our team leader these last couple of years. And Monroe at 366 is just 11 field goals behind Moore, both of them approaching the top 10 all-time in school history. Also looking at points, same thing here. So points all-time, Moore is on top of Monroe by just 2 points. And just into 10th, Jamal Small, actually, who just recently finished his career, is sandwiched in between them, just 1 point in between them, but Monroe about to pass him, and likely, with the better points per game average, is likely going to move past Moore as well, possibly in this very next game, and into the top 10 all time. And as a junior, if he sticks around for his senior year, Chris Monroe could go down as our greatest scorer ever in school history. And you can see just how tight it is, as they are our two best scorers, but Monroe, 4.3 points per game better than Moore. They very well could have that gap closed within this next game. Field goal wise, very, very similar players, but you get a lot more threes out of Monroe. A little bit more in free throws from Moore. But Monroe, 3 points tend to have that edge. It's also a better rebounder, but Moore has been playing point guard. Having a really good season with 5.5 assists per game. Alright, well, let's go ahead and get to the conference part of our schedule. We have Tennessee State up first at home, and as much as I would love to get a game in right away, we're going to win this game. I can't say that very often, but at home against a team with a record like that, we're going to open the conference schedule with a win. I'm pretty confident about that. And there you go. 12-2 now on the season. 1-0. 20-point victory. Pretty comfortable there, it looked like. Though it was right about level at the half, but we blew out in the second half. Points in the paint. A little bit behind on that one. And I spoke too soon. So Moore comes in with 9 points, and Chris Monroe has himself a day to forget. 1 of 10 shooting. Fouled out of the game and scored just 2 points. At least he didn't turn the ball over. But Brian Steele came up with a big day with 22 points. This is the beautiful thing about the team this season. My best player can have a very off day and we can still win by 20 points. I have depth. I have quality across the board in the starting five, and I have some pretty solid backups as well. And that's why I have high hopes for this season. We lost to the number 6 team, which is now the number 4 team in Indiana, and then we've had one other loss so far this season, both of those coming on the road. And otherwise, we've beat a number of quality teams, and we've won games by pretty large margins. All right, so next up is Greenville on the road. And this is looking like a good point to step in and watch. Let's see, Greenville 5 and 6. We'll see the scouting report here first. I definitely have the better players, but we are on the road. Anytime you're on the road, it looks like their guards and their center get the majority of their points. But they, like us, actually get a good amount of points from their bench. I haven't seen that for a while. This could certainly be a difficult game. This could be that third loss of the year, as Greenville is definitely not going to be a pushover with a 7-6 record. Better team, but road team. So which one's going to win out? Quality or that home court advantage? I gotta lower that volume a little bit. Okay, well, Greenville's off to a quick start here. 15-4. I'm going to use an early timeout here to try to get some momentum going back our way as we trail 17-8 through the first 10 minutes. We are not scoring well at all. Just 35% from the field, but we have closed that gap down here a bit. They've had 7 free throw attempts already. We're 0 of 7 beyond the arc. And we've committed 7 turnovers. We're way, way behind on rebounds. So you can see where we're going wrong, but we are closing them down a bit here as we approach halftime. And they've built up some momentum, so I am going to use another timeout here before the half. And we do get a 3 right at the buzzer to end the half to close the gap. It's 44-38, and we trail at the half. Come out here in the second half, though, and we are playing a bit better, but again, the lead goes to 10 here early on. Monroe's perfect 4 of 4 with 11 points, 6 rebounds. He's getting his comeback game after struggling last time out. I'm going to go ahead and use another timeout here as, again, they have the momentum. Oof. Come out of the timeout and they build more momentum, actually. That's unusual. Okay, 5 minutes to go and we trail by 12. Rebounds still a -8, turnovers a -4. Shooting, we got up to 50%, so we've overcome that challenge. But they've been to the line 28 times, so we are shooting the ball much better. But they are still getting to the free throw line constantly, drawing a lot of fouls. Shannon Robinson's got 4 fouls. Swift has 3. I've got a lot of guys absent from the lineup right now that should be out there. And it very well be... It could be that they've fouled out. 83-74 after a big make there by Murphy. We got multiple chances in there, couldn't make any of them, and we end up going down 85-77. Like I said, this was a difficult game, and maybe I should have worked the ref more because 30-10 on free throws. That was the difference. The rebounds, we closed them back down. Turnovers, we closed them back down. We outshot them in the game after really, really struggling there in the first half, which is where we built that deficit. But it was the free throws. Free throws were the difference in that one. Monroe had 16 points and 13 boards. Big day for him. After a 5-for-5 start, though, he finished 6 of 11, so just one of his final 6 attempts went in. Moore added 14 points of his own on an identical 6 of 11 shooting. Jason Lewis, just 5 points, quiet day for him, 4 rebounds. I think that's just about the worst game I've seen out of him. So our opening road game on the conference schedule, we drop. Next up, Mississippi. That's the kind of game that should be comfortable for us as it's home and they are just 4-10. But we've got to steal some road games. And while that was not an easier one, that would have been the kind of game we need to steal if we're going to win the conference this year.
You have new mail. You have new mail.
So we'll need to steal as much as half of those games. Akron 7-7, Wisconsin, Milwaukee is 6-7, Southern Illinois 8-4. Ooh, some good teams coming up. You know, you look at the standings in the RPI. There's a lot of teams. Southern Illinois 25, Indiana State 99, Greenville's 102. They're just outside. Multiple teams in the top 100 or very close to it. This is by far the best conference. Which makes perfect sense. You know, we started in Conference V. We're now in Conference G. We are moving up, 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 and up. If you think about it, there's 16 teams in a conference. So 16, there's 32, there's 48, 64. So you get to 80 right there, 96, and there you are. We should be right around that 100 mark, kind of on average. And now we're actually starting to get there. You know, a good half the conference is in or around the top 100. Ooh, Smith. Smith is building some interest. That's good. As the top 100 recruit. Go ahead and watch film on all of these guys again. Let's go scout this guy live as he's an Oregon native. It's a lot cheaper for us to do. That actually ends up getting us all the way through the list by doing it that way as well. I think I had just one guy left. I believe it's Bennett. No, we've got everything on Bennett. Okay, so I've got all my information on all the players now. So recruiting is going to be a little bit easier for a little while. So next up, Mississippi. This should definitely be a bounce back win. The streakiness of a couple seasons ago, I certainly hope will not be an issue now. We do get the win there. We've got Southern Illinois, a tough team that moved up with us from this last season. They are 10-5, and they have a high RPI, but we are at home. They're not currently ranked, but their RPI was, what, 23rd? When we checked it just a little bit ago. Got the win, got the win. So 14-3, 3-1 in conference. We are taking care of what we need to do at home. It's those road wins where we're going to have to grab, because there's going to be some tight competition in the conference this season. Promotions are going to start getting a lot tougher, I think, at this point.
You have new mail.
From this division on, might not be quite as easy. So we got Indiana State coming up 12-3. Was even Wisconsin Milwaukee on this game coming up. Right. We've certainly got the edge, but Monroe, as good as he is, he's level with Jones. Jones is just a sophomore too. Okay, on to recruiting. Let's see if there's anybody that really needs to go for any reason. Okay, they're all capable defenders, though not as good as I would like. I would love to see an A in there somewhere. Passing, what about handling? There's one that's pretty bad in a lot of ways, but he's one of the better defenders overall, but then a bunch of Ds. Here's our offers at the moment. There's 5. So Johnson and Fuller have already signed letters of intent. So a center and a small forward. We've got a shooting guard, a point guard, and another small forward that have offers out right now. That'd be kind of the weaker one in the bunch, but then there's that B on defense. I should look towards one of these other guys like Abrams. Point guard with pretty balanced, pretty quality across the board outside of rebounding and blocking, but as a point guard, that's not as big of a deal. See, he's from California, cares about location and academics. This is the kind of guy that I can definitely recruit. Let me go ahead and offer up that last scholarship that I have. Good GPA. We'll see what kind of interest we can build here. He was 116 in the last rankings. So he's pretty high up. All right. Let's go ahead and get back to the season. Let's see if we can get some wins on the road. RPI currently at 48, rank 25. So we just cracked the rankings with that 14-3 record. This is about the earliest in the season I've ever been ranked, but we dropped that game on the road. We've got Akron at home, another game we should win, but now we are 0-2 in conference at home. Or 0-2 in conference on the road, not at home. We're perfect at home, as we have been most of the last 3-4 seasons since we bounced back from that weak stretch that we had. There you go, win there. So 15-4, 4-2 overall, but that's 4 home games played. Georgia State on the road, another tough game coming up. We're going to have to start building something, right? If we win all the home games and lose all the road games, that's only going to be a 500 record in conference. That will not get the job done.
You have new mail.
Fresno State looks a little more winnable, 6-11. Wichita State, same record. It'd be nice if those were both road games so that we can maybe squeeze one or both of those out. Let's go ahead and check where we're at. Georgia State, Indiana State, both. Indiana State 5-1 in conference. RPI is 88. We've got to play that one on the road. So we need this Georgia State game. They're getting blown out by top 25 teams. We're, of course, gone from the rankings after that loss. Wichita State at home. Fresno State on the road, though. 0-6 in conference. RPI is all the way down at 220. So Fresno State, that's a road game that we need to win. West New Orleans, tough team, but at home. Baltimore at home, very winnable game there. Kent State, tough but winnable game on the road. Tennessee State, same thing, tough but winnable. Greenville at home, lucky to have that one at home. Mississippi on the road. That I like the end of this schedule. Indiana State is probably the game that we have the least chance of winning, but there's a lot of chances to get wins the rest of the way. Really, I could see us losing Indiana State and 1 or 2 more road games, which would put us at maybe 4 losses, maybe 5 in conference by the end of the season. That should have us right about the top 3 based on the schedule. We're going to have to stay healthy, though. That's going to be a big part of it. Okay, tough 2 road games this week. We need a split. Desperately need a split here. And we're going to get it. We just won that game, but bad news, injured player. Who's it going to be? Steele, just 11 days. He's at 75% with some back spasms. But that's going to hurt the next week and a half for sure, as that is one of our key players. And we have Indiana State next up in the... let's just go ahead and sim day. Let's watch that Indiana State game, see how we do without one of our key players in Brian Steele in a very, very tough road game. I'd put our chances all the way down at about 33%, maybe even worse. Selection committee would look at this as our key win of the year. Good start. But Indiana State starts rolling here. It's 12-10 early on, 12-12 early on. Monroe off to a quick start, 9 points on 3 of 3 shooting. A lot of back and forth right now. Got to be careful of them building up momentum like they are right now. I went ahead and used a timeout. We trail by 7. We're building momentum, but we're not scoring. Okay, now the scoring's coming as we level the score here with 2 minutes to play in the first half. Just 10 of 30 shooting, but they are just 11 of 30 shooting. Rebounds +1, turnovers +1. Both teams protecting the ball really well. Neither team shooting well, so this is all defense. Free throws are pretty level. That's why this game is so tight. 40-42 right now with 15 to play in the game. Rebounds, turnovers, all of it still right there. If one team can get hot, they can pull away real quick, as both teams are shooting very, very poorly, and us even worse than them right now. Okay, time for that timeout as they are starting to open a lead. 10-point lead now. We just cannot get the ball in the hoop. We finally get 2 points. We've only scored 2 points in the last 6 minutes, I think. Okay, we are coming back on them a little bit, but they definitely opened up a lead when we went ice cold. Monroe's got 19 points. 1 minute to go. We are going to lose this game, so that cold stretch, 2 points in 5 minutes is what cost us that game. So rebounds, dead level. Turnovers, oof. We went from very, very balanced to -7. And the shooting, we just went ice cold for that 5-minute stretch with literally just 2 points in there. Monroe finished on 21 on 5 of 11 shooting, so Monroe had a decent day. Brian Steele played, but he had just 7 points, just 4 rebounds, just shooting 2 of 7. So tough day for him, playing hurt. We ended up losing by 11 points in the end. Okay, Wichita State coming up next. That's a definite win. That's a mid-major who's gotten a lot of attention the last couple years in real life. Lewis leading the conference, and Steele 5th in the conference in blocks. So that is really helping as we protect the rim very well. Top 30 Orton candidates. Nobody from our team is up there, but Steve Robinson of UConn. And UConn finally lost a game, but they're still ranked #1 in the nation. Alright, so Smith has an offer, but we're not on his list, but the interest has grown. Gordon, let's see, no offer. Abrams, we just put an offer in. No change there. Moore, same. The guys around him have higher interest. Killian, number 10. We've been number 10 on his list for a good while. Levy, nothing. Still just evaluation, so not much going on. Alright, now I think this is a week we can go 2-0. And if we do, this will go a long ways to getting us into that top 3. Six and 3 now in conference. Fresno State on the road, but just 8-12, and really struggling in their conference record. They were 0-6 when we got that scouting report. They've played a couple games since then. And I think they might have won one of them. I think they were 7-11. Into February. Come on, come on. Come on, we need this one, guys. We need this one. There we go. Okay, we got that win. So 7-3 now. West New Orleans is a very good team. 14-7 overall. Just behind us in terms of overall record. But because we are playing at home, I would think we have the quality within the team this year to win all of our home games. Would certainly hope so.
You have new mail.
Now, before we continue on, we're going to look at a couple things here. We've got Tennessee State just 7-14 coming up. Kent State 11-10 coming up. Let's go ahead and glance at the standings, see where we're at. 10 games in, West New Orleans on top. But we have a chance to level them out, and we're back into the rankings at 25th now. Just 40th in RPI, so it's pretty solid that we are up there as high as we are. But look how tight it is at the top. You really still have all the way down to about Akron at 5-5, teams that are still in it. Really, there's only the 3 teams that are really struggling in Wichita State, Fresno State, and Mississippi. But let's go ahead and check those records. Curious where these guys are at now. Field goals made, Moore and Monroe now up to 8th and 9th. Moore still has the edge over Monroe, but it's down to just 3 now between them in field goals made. And in points, Monroe has overtaken Moore. They've both gotten up into the top 10 now. Moore was already 10th, but he's overtaken Snow. And then Monroe has overtaken all the way from 12th up to 9th. Remember, he is just a junior, so he's still got a real shot at getting into the top 2 or 3, if not the all-time leader, if he does stick around for his senior year. All right. One more thing we're going to look at before we continue on, other than checking our recruits briefly. There really shouldn't be much to check there, but maybe I'll do some film scouting again, as it's been a little while since we've done that, get some updates. Let's see, GPA is what I was wanting to check, and here's why I wanted to check it. Sean Swift, he's a senior, so I'm not worried about him losing eligibility, but Jason Lewis, his GPA, even though we assigned him a tutor for a while, he needs to study more for the next month, and he needs to get a tutor for the next month. It hurts because his development might not be as good. 3.5 stars, 5-star potential. But at a 2.1 GPA, we cannot afford to lose him for half a season because he can't take care of his grades. That's the only one to worry about, though. So, with that, West New Orleans. Let's go a day at a time here. West New Orleans. Probably not going to get any more live games until we get to postseason action here. Got the win. So we stay perfect at home and we win it comfortably, 78-58. We are a very, very good team. We just are not doing enough on the road right now. Monroe had 20 points. Lewis had 16. Milton 15. So good day from the starting five, as their plus-minus was very, very good indeed. Rebounds, Lewis 13 boards. Nicely done. He even had 5 assists. Moore had 7. Oof, Moore turned the ball over 8 times though. Ouch. Fouls, no foul trouble. Ooh, that's the first time in a while that I've seen us that good in that department. Next up is Baltimore. They are just 10 and 13, and we are at home. If we should, theoretically, should take care of this game, no problem. I mean, percentage-wise, I think we're approaching 75-80% likelihood of winning each home game, almost regardless of opponent. That last game, that was the league leader at the time, so that was a bit less assured. There we go, 9 and 3. Now that record's starting to look pretty decent in conference. 20 and 5 on the season, so that was another 20-win season for us. And our ranking at 25th could possibly go up.
You have new mail.
And it has. We go up to 22 now. 22. Kent State on the road. That's one of the more winnable games we're going to get on the road. They are 5 and 7 in conference, just 7 and 5 at home though, so that helps. We are just 7 and 5 on the road, so we have identical records when it comes to home and away. RPI moved up a good amount to 35th now. But look at that! Despite all those wins, we are still just 9 and 3. We're still in a 3-way tie, and there's still 2 teams right behind us. So maybe it's a 5-way battle now with, look at how tightly packed the conference is this season. So Kent State, who else do we get this week? Just 4 left to play, 3 of them on the road. Tennessee State, another one at 5 and 7 in the conference. So I would imagine we'll end up splitting these 2 games. To win both of them is to ask a lot. To lose both of them would be very disappointing. Greenville, tough team. They're tied, that 3-way tie at the top of the league. It helps that we're playing them at home. And then Mississippi, that's the winnable one. But if we take 3 out of 4, beating Greenville for one thing along the way, if we take 3 out of 4, including a win against Greenville, that should do it. That should have us in a top 3 for the automatic bid. But if we only get 2 out of 4, I have a feeling we will need the conference tournament to get a promotion this season. So let's go ahead, take it a day at a time. Be nice to get this one and the next, really. we got it, okay. So we're on pace now for that. We're on pace for 3 out of 4, 89-73, but we've got an injured player. Tennessee State's only 8 and 16 overall for this next game. But who did we lose? Milton. Starting shooting guard. Straight calf, 75%, 11 days. So same thing we just went through, but this could hurt. Another starter. That's our third injury on the year. It's certainly not the most I've had, but it's the most I've had in the last few seasons anyway. Okay, now it matters. Ooh, they all lost. They all lost. Okay, so Greenville and West New Orleans both lost. Southern Illinois won their game. Again, these guys all top 100 RPI. And mostly top 50. So it is very tight here. And if we get this win, though, we'll be fine. We will be fine. I think we still need to beat Greenville. If we win this game, I will relax for those final two because we'll get the job done. If we lose this game, though, like I said, we only need 3 out of 4. So it's not like we have to win this game. But we're still only maybe 50-50 on this one because it's on the road. Even if they're only 8-16. We've got a player playing through injury, so carry and a knock, and we're on the road. That's, to me, that's 50-50 odds here. Big day, guys. Big day. Come on. You could do it. You can do it. Nope. Nope. 75-65. We dropped the game. Jenkins had a really bad day and got the start in place of Milton. Milton did not play. So Milton did not play in the game, and our bench really struggled. Ouch. Robinson, come on. Terrible stat line from him. Trailed at half. Made up a couple points in the second half, but it looks like we trailed pretty much the entire game. Like I said, we only needed to split these two, but I would have felt a lot more comfortable had we got the win there, because now it's still all to do here in the final 2 games. Greenville is next, so a win there eliminates them. Because we'd go +1, they'd go -1, and there'd only be 1 game left. So that would guarantee us the top 3. So, win this game, job's done. Still not going to watch it, though, because we are almost out of time, and we've got postseason coming up. So, we'll have to just let it do its thing. It's not like when we actually simulate the games, I'm doing a whole lot. I just use timeouts periodically, otherwise try to keep things moving along. You could certainly micromanage if you play the game yourself. You could certainly micromanage and be a little more involved, but I do like to take the armchair approach here for the sake of, we've gotten all the way to February 18th, 2038. But it's 2038. We're 20 years down the road, more than actually, because we've been at this game for over a year now. So I believe it started 2017. Okay, not necessarily a must-win, because we still have that final game, and things could still happen, but to control our own destiny, it's a must-win. By the way, our ranking actually went up. It actually went up. We are 18th now, so a lot of teams took losses. Our RPI went up to 28. That one road win actually came with a pretty valuable boost to our RPI. But this is the game that matters right here. And we got it. And we have another injured player. We got it comfortably. 75-59 final score. Big first half. Led virtually the whole way, besides probably right at the beginning of the game. Monroe, 17 points. Only a +4, though. 5 of 9 beyond the arc, though. So really got it done. 4 steals. So Monroe definitely the star of the game. Moore added 10 points. Jenkins, much better this time off the bench with Milton back into the starting lineup. Milton didn't do a whole lot. He was just 1 of 7 shooting, but he did his part despite playing through that injury. Shannon Robinson, much better today. 25 minutes, 4 of 5 shooting, 7 boards, all at the defensive end. Great job there. All right, well, that should seal it here. Yes, we are guaranteed a top 3 finish now with West New Orleans and Southern Illinois. We still got it to play for the regular season, but we've got one of the 3 guaranteed promotion slots. Win or lose in this final game at Mississippi. Mississippi has improved a lot, 6-9 now in the conference, so they are much better than they were at the beginning of the season. Now, let's see what the damage is as we've picked up another injury. It is Mark Jones with a sprained wrist. Not a big deal there. And Milton is back up to 83% with just 4 days left. So we'll be healthy by the time we get into the playoffs here. Now, I've not touched recruiting for a little while, but there's not a lot going on at the moment. Not showing up on any of these guys' list except for Killian, who we've been number 10 for a very long time. Oh, there you go. There's a little bit of improvement. Levy, number 10, from not being on his list. It's still only a little bit of interest, though. But that's a good sign that the assistant coach has made some progress with him. Oh, my goodness. Oh, this is Oh Happy Day. That's that song, right? Oh Happy Day. Hey, it's a happy day for me. Yes, we're in 18th. That's fine. Not a big deal. Notre Dame's at ranked 21st. I am so sick of seeing Notre Dame constantly in the top 5 since the beginning of this series. Drives me nuts. So I have a personal beef with Notre Dame, if you could sense it through all of these seasons. So I went to University of Oregon, okay, and just when we started, football-wise, to look like they do now in the modern game, okay, let's go ahead and continue through here while I tell you this story. So my freshman year was the only losing season besides 2-3 years ago that the Ducks have had over the last 30 years or so. So my freshman year, they were 5-6 and struggled through the year. And that summer, they hired Chip Kelly out of, I think it was New Hampshire. Excellent Division II program. Excellent offense. They brought him in. They switched to the spread option offense, and Chip Kelly instantaneously turned the offense around. That next year, we were like 8-3 or 9-2, and had a really good year. Went to a bowl game, had a great season. Literally by the next season, we were in the national championship conversation. I believe Dennis Dixon was quarterback at the time. We had an outstanding year, and if not for an injury, we won that game, so that is conference championship. There you go, regular season anyway. 12-4, Southern Illinois at 11-5, with West New Orleans at 10-6, getting the automatic bids. These guys are going to play it out for who gets to go up with us in the conference tournament. Anyway, continuing on. So that next year, right there in the mix, national championship conversation. But Dixon went down with an injury, missed 2 or 3 games, and we struggled through those games, and I think we went 1-2 in those games. So we had been, like a perfect 7-0, and then we dropped a couple games there, and so we were, that close. But at the end of the season, We were still in contention for a BCS bowl game. This was before the playoffs, before they were doing the playoffs. And we were ranked, I think it was like 5th in the nation. Notre Dame was ranked 6th in the nation. We had a stronger schedule. We had similar opponents in Stanford, and we beat Stanford. They lost to Stanford. Everything, absolutely everything pointed to us being as the better team. Us as in University of Oregon. Again, I was a student. I wasn't on the team myself. But everything pointed to Oregon and not Notre Dame. But if you know anything about sports, the industry, and everything that goes on within, there's marketing. Marketing's a thing. So the BCS Bowl Committee ended up picking Notre Dame to go to the Rose Bowl instead of the Ducks. It made no sense to anyone except for the bookmakers, who knew that Oregon at that point was not a nationally profiled team yet, like they are now. It took years to build that, and this was just at the beginning of that build. I mean, this was our first potential BCS bid in about 7 years or so. And certainly, the best that the team had looked, besides Joey Harrington and what he was able to put together, and then the mean green defense of the mid-90s. But it was definitely the best the team had been in a long time. And so we didn't have the consistency. Now, Notre Dame didn't have consistency either. They cheat the system by not being in a conference, picking their opponents, and they pick weak opponents for 80% of their schedule all year long, every year. So they pad their win-loss record with taking some easy games. They still recruit really well because they're high profile. It's Notre Dame, great academic school. But they pad their schedule. And then they take a few high-profile games that they can spend weeks preparing for because they can steamroll bad opponents in the meantime. So that's what they do. That's their tactic. That's their strategy. And so the USCs, the Stanfords that they play year in, year out, I know there's one or two other higher profile opponents that they play, but when you only have a few tough games, you get extra preparation. When, Stanford, for example, plays the Ducks one week, USC the next week, and then play Notre Dame, well, they're spending the week preparing for the Ducks. They're spending the week preparing for the Trojans, and then they spend just 1 week preparing for Notre Dame. So that puts them at a disadvantage. Now, the better team should still win out, but preparation is big. It is. Boise State is a West Coast example of a school that really, really benefits. There's our guy that we didn't have everything on. Right? Ta-da! Conference prestige. Let's put in that call. There we go. Just like having all of that done, even if it doesn't matter. Conference prestige is never something I'm going to pitch to them, but I still want to have everything done. Anyway, we're still just in an evaluation, so no changes. SAT scores are out, and everybody qualifies. And they've been out for a long time, by the way. Let's get back to it. Well, anyway, so Notre Dame, they've got that NBC contract because they're not in a conference, so they don't have to deal with conference profiles. So they've been, their games have been aired on NBC for decades. And it keeps that high profile. They've got a lot of fans. And if you're a fan, that's fine. I've got nothing against you. But to me, they take advantage of the system by being in no conference. While we were clearly the higher ranked team and had a better profile in every way, they got the bid and we didn't. So I've had a beef against Notre Dame ever since. And it kills me that one of my favorite sports movies of all time, Rudy, had to be at Notre Dame. But at the same time, that kind of plays into it, right? That's where that huge profile is partly from. By the way, if you've never seen Rudy, watch it. Don't turn into a Notre Dame fan because of it. Because it's all him. It's not the school. And so, yeah, that does put it partly down as bias. By the way, this is the highest ranked my team has ever been. 16th at 23-6. Now, we don't need this conference tournament as we've already got the automatic promotion, but I'd like to keep that ranking up, at least inside the top 25. So we'll want to get through this first game here as we get the conference tournament underway. And I'm already out of time. Dang.
You have
let's keep going for now, though. Got Georgia State coming up. Georgia State's turned their season around, 15-13 now. Steve Robinson's still a favorite for Player of the Year. Georgia State, oof, look at that. We are favored in every battle except for at shooting guard. So this better be a win. RPI is now 21st. So we're matching that record. We did get the win there. Into the semifinal.
You have new mail.
Playing Baltimore 90-76. That's comfortable.
You have new mail.
Got the win again into the conference final. 86-74. That's a lot closer. Central Florida beat out Southern Illinois to get in. They're just 15-15. Now this should be a conference championship. Let's see if we get the job done. And we did. And we are now ranked number 13 in the land. UConn still on top at 28-2. But we have never had such a high rank. This has been a really, really good season. So 12-4 conference record, 26-6 overall. And we are absolutely heading to the NCAA tournament on the back of this conference championship. I believe that is our 9th now in history. No, 8th. Or will it be if we go forward one more day? Will that change? Will that update? Because I thought that was 9. Nope, that is our 8th. But look at that. 17th in scoring. 17th in defense in the country. No wonder we are ranked 13th overall. So we are putting up some really, really good numbers. Chris Monroe leading the way, right about 16 points per game. And Jason Lewis leading the way on D. Conference leader in blocks. Lewis and Beck. Oh, Lewis second in rebounds in the conference. Moore leading the conference in assists. And Monroe second in scoring in the conference. So we are all over. Nobody declared for the draft. That is fantastic. So Monroe will be back for his senior year. Steve Robinson still leading the way. Alright, well, here's the thing. I am totally out of time. So, we're going to have to squeeze this into next season. Smith, moving up. More interest now. Killian still 10th. Freeman, more interest now. So we're starting to come along with some of these guys. So we're making a little progress naturally. Just our assistant coach talking to him. I do have all 6 scholarship offers out there. I don't necessarily want all of them to sign, but I'll be happy if we get 3 more. Even 2 more I would be happy with, but definitely not if we only get 0 or 1 guys. So we are in the best position we've ever been heading into the tournament. I'm not even going to tell you what our seed is yet. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up right here, right now, and we'll finish it off with a quick look at those records and see how they have developed. Let's look at season. Anything? No, we haven't had a record season in any way. So we're not even there yet. But maybe that doesn't come in until the end of the year. That's possible. But career points, 7th and 8th now, they've both moved up. Monroe has definitely left more behind, but they've both moved up. And you can see that Monroe is most likely going to move into the top 5 in our next game. Hopefully, we're good enough to get at least back to the Sweet 16 this year, but we'll have to find that out in the next episode, because that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, tune in next time on my Road to the Record. Bye for now.